We give homage to the Creator, who is like our Father and who is like our Mother, who is everything that we can perceive and everything that we cannot perceive, who is everything yet is no thing, who comes to us in the form of the Neteru Ra, who is the light of the heavens, light of the inner planes, as well as the light of our lives, who shines the light for us on the path of Ma'ati, which is the path of truth, justice, righteousness, and harmonious balance, who comes to us in the form of the light of vitality, giving us the strength and the endurance to live and act upon that which we know to be true. Homage to you, the one who shines in and through us as a beacon of light for those who are blind to the facts of their place, their position, and their responsibilities in the divine scheme of things. May we be Ma'akiru, true of thought, word, and deed, to our highest realities, and in our moments of crises and the dark nights of the soul when it appears that everyone and everything else has let us down. So it is, and so shall it be. Amen Ma'at. Ma'akiru. 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 MC. Yeah, it's too close. This one too. Iyanawe. Nayiti. Welcome to the Communion Experience. I'm your host, Nasut Biddy, Ross Uncle Kepper, Chief and Head Priest of the Temple of Anu. We say, Onkin Ma'at to the righteous and respectable chat. Y'all know the protocol. Who are you and where you're from? Today is going to be in and out, short and sweet. Like the old school artist Keith Murray said, sometimes it bees like that. It bees like that sometimes, but y'all going to be all right. According to new research, they say when you're working out in the gym, you don't got to be up in there like hours at a time and things like that. The new research, according to the science, you need like 20 to 30 minutes at the most. So coming to the temple is like the mental, spiritual gym. It is the gym for your soul. So we don't need a whole bunch of your time or your energy. We just need to be effective and straightforward and scientific with our approach to what it is that we're trying to achieve, right? So these days, if y'all noticed, since the coming of the new year, I've changed my approach to how we go about teaching the legacy. It's not so much about teaching history or racial politics and things like that. Not that those things are not important, but to have a moment of honesty, they're not important to me. Never was important to me. If we're honest, that was something, that was a script given to us as though that was the only way that we could show love and concern for our people, right? If you know anything about me, before I even reached 20 years old, I was already into mysticism. I was studying Sufism, Kabbalism, Taoism, Buddhism. I already had a transcendental approach to so-called religion or an immanent approach to religion. Always knew that I was something bigger and better than my designation of race. Why did I get quiet? Because I knew what's going on in your head. I'm psychic. What's going on in your head? It's like ding, 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 coon, 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 coon alert, coon alert. Like, nah, don't that happen usually when people talk about their bigot and their race and stuff? Something happens in their consciousness. Sometimes it's a red flag for people. It happens in their consciousness that all of a sudden the world becomes so important. We got to help the people in Israel. Oh, we got to help the people in Ukraine. Oh, we got to stop being so mean to Chinese people. Chinese people are scared of black people. Black people, be nicer to the Chinese. Be nicer to the Mexicans. We got to help the Mexicans. And next thing you know, being black or black people are being undervalued and underserved. When people start talking about it's bigot and race, don't pay so much attention to race. That's a way to kind of marginalize black folks and put everybody else on the so-called color rainbow and all under the auspices of helping the world and that all lives matter. So I'm just reassuring you that's not the issue with me. If anything, I'm standing on it and I'm doubling down on everything that our people taught that was great about us. I'm doubling down on that. If anything, I want to connect receipts to all the tall talk. So when people start talking about anything dealing with Black folks, African American, indigenous, Moors, whatever exotic adjective that we call ourselves, they start putting respect on our name. That's where we at right now in this impasse. Our ancestors did their thing. They don't need us to speak for them. Who's speaking for us now and what it is that we're doing? We can't hide behind the accomplishments of 3,000 years ago. We can't even hide behind accomplishments that was done 200 years ago with our ancestors that had less than what it is that we had. So what are we going to, what are we going to do? No battery on YouTube. So if y'all still want to hear me, go to YouTube. So where I said, what are we going to do with all the things that we have now? All the things that we have, all the technology that we have so much more than our people had 200 years ago. So technically we should do more. We should do what we got now at our disposal, but we should look closer to the ancient Kemites than our ancestors 200 something years ago in slavery and coming out of slavery. They did a whole bunch of life-changing, profound stuff that the whole world is benefiting off of now. Y'all see the inventors list? That's all like 90% us. Literally almost like everything that all the conveniences that we had were built off of the foundations of thoughts coming from ex-slaves. So if they did it coming out the cotton fields, what's our problem with all the books we read? They hadn't even read all the books that we got in our library. They hadn't gone to the university. Some of them went to the universities and stuff, but they had that God gene awakened in them. So this is bigger than race. We're something bigger than just our Black bodies. So some people like, well, what do you propose? Or you just proposing a philosophical approach to things? Let's look at the word philosophy. Philo and Sophie. Philo means love of, and Sophia. Who is Sophia and what is Sophia? Anybody? Wisdom. Who is Sophia? He said wisdom, but who is that? What does that mean? That's right. He said, according to the Greeks, it was the goddess of wisdom, the love of wisdom, the love of the goddess of wisdom. We all know that with the Greeks, they had this nasty habit of inverting or perverting the teachings that they got from the Kemetic people. So there is no goddess of wisdom in the Kemetic tradition, actually Seth-Ket. But that gets converted into the Neter, the Jehuti, who's the personification of articulate thought, word, and speech. But it is still associated with a goddess or a Neteret, and that is Ma'at. So Ma'at is the personification of truth. So articulate thought, word, word, and speech collected with truth. That is our definition of wisdom. So when we have all the sentiment of truth, of Ma'at, truth, really, we want to know the truth because we're looking for meaning in our lives. So when we say Ankim Ma'at, living truth, a life of truth, where did we get that from? I didn't make that up. It got restarted with us in the Temple of Anu. I see it took like wildfire now online and stuff. It's people that's not associated with us. They be greeting each other with Ankim Ma'at and stuff like that. That came from us over here. But we got it from Akhenaten. He's in the Sividi. Akhenaten called the whole Kemetic lifestyle Ankh in Ma'at, living in truth. But when we seek for truth, we want to know truth because we're trying to live with deeper meaning, truer meaning. So when we say Ankh and Ma'at or greet each other with Ankh and Ma'at, that's a hekau. It's a charge to live with purpose, live with deeper meaning. Y'all understand? Not just live in truth, because a lot of times words get by us and we tend to stay abstract with our words. So when we say truth, we're talking about the truth that gives our lives greater meaning. So today I want to deal with a topic based off of the teachings of Ptah-hotep. You know, people have the book of Ptah-hotep. There's some quotes from the Hosea and from the book of Ptah-hotep, but this quote I'm getting from Ma'at, the guiding principles of moral living. I know they revised it a couple times, so I don't want to even give the page number. My page number is 434. And this is him speaking to a Sabai. He calls a Sabai master teacher. It says, as for you, teach your disciple the Sabbat, the words of the tradition, making them act as models for the children. So what I'm talking about, this is not about history. It's not about racial identity and politics. It's coming down to in 2024 and beyond to the days that we die. What is it that we're teaching? Do we know the meaning of what it is that we're teaching? Because there's power in meaning. So here we have the Ptah saying, teach your disciple the words of the tradition, make them as models for the children. And I was looking at that, I said, look like, okay, that sounds familiar. I thought it was a reinterpretation of what I thought it was saying, but it's actually the page 50 of the Hosea. You got the Hosea, I think. That's Kemmunion. Okay, yeah. Remember, it says, follow in your footsteps of the ancestors, for the mind is trained through knowledge. Behold, their words endure in books. Open and read them and follow their wise counsel. You see the similarities in that? Teach your disciple the words of the tradition. Make them act as models for the children. So it says, go to the books, open them and read them and follow their wise instructions. So the mind is trained through knowledge. So it's teaching you that the importance of culture, because they use the word tradition. Culture and tradition is important for all peoples on the planet. It's only Black folks talking about they don't need culture, tradition, and religion. Everybody else, their culture, religion, and tradition is ingrained in what it is that they do and how they interact. We're striving for this level of freedom to the point where we've been imprisoned with the illusion of ideas of freedom. We've done nothing with our freedom but imprison ourselves with distractions. So your culture, they say culture represents a way of life. Culture is actually survival strategies that's been encoded as a way of life. So your culture, your survival strategies are supposed to inform your decisions, supposed to inform your reality. Look at that word, inform, inwardly form your reality, inwardly inform your decisions. Y'all heard this before, right? Your words create your reality, right? That's the lesson today. Your words create your reality. Kemetic Proverbs, it says, emotions are good servants, but poor masters. Emotions are good servants, but poor masters. Emotions are good servants, but what? Poor masters. The question, emotions are good servants, poor masters. Y'all hear the words, right? There's bars in there, it's double entendres. So the question is it possible for the emotions to master us? Hold up. I'm gonna get it on the mic. Who's bold enough to get on the mic to give me a short discourse on it? Pastor, short. Is it possible for emotions to master us?
Two.
And what does it look like when your emotion is mastered?
You have no control of the emotions that's mastering you. You're allowing the emotions to be the master if it's not a good teacher. If it's not being a good teacher of allowing the emotions to get the best of you. So you have to learn how to be able to control that emotions, masterminding, like taking control, like finding a way to like tame it. Mm-hmm. Don't let it be the master.
Anybody else want to add to that? If you want to hear what they're saying, go to YouTube. We're mic'd up in stereo on YouTube.
It would look like chaos in a person's life. If the emotion is controlling them, then the emotion is dictating their actions, and because emotions is dictating their actions, emotions are telling the person whatever feels good or bad is what they react to. So it's no discipline.
Excellent, excellent. No, go ahead. No, this is the discussion.
You said it. No, I mean, I was just going to add on to also the physical aspects of when you can't control your emotions. So if you're angry or, you have some type of emotion in that manner, you can't control your breath. If you can't control your breath, it's going to start to affect the rest of your physical body. And if you affect your physical body, you're going to break down and have disease and all types of things. So that's also why it's important for you to control your emotions.
Now, all of that y'all explained, has that happened to anybody? Do you think that's normal and healthy? That's good, because we're at an impasse at a community. As a community, there's a lot of philosophy going on. For the rest of our lives, we have to produce results. We keep looking at our legacy like it's a dead body or dead cadaver, and we're just looking at it. Isn't it much more fun to study the living body and see how it works in live time instead of a dead body that's not going to react in dead time? So many people are just looking at the legacy, looking at the teachings, and not doing anything with the teachings, not approaching it in the scientific way. So we have to ask, who's generating the emotion? So y'all objectified the emotions, y'all gave it a spirit. Who's generating the emotions and who's experiencing the emotions? Sit with that. Who's generating the emotions and who's experiencing the emotions? Don't you see that? By that, you're something more transcendental than the body. Something else answers. Something else non-physical steps up in your conscious like, it's me, I. It's not a word, it's a vibe, it's a knowing. It comes just like that. Your whole journey on the spirituality is to connect you with that part of yourself. Y'all heard of the 10 virtues of the initiate, right? Where we get that list from? He went to the Hoosie. It's in there. So watch this. So we got that list of the 10 virtues of initiates from George M. James from the book Stolen Legacy. Now, some of the scholars in our community tried to fight George M. James on that, saying it's not true because he was a Mason. Some believe there was a conspiracy that he gave all the Masonic secrets in that book and he was killed because he gave all of the secrets. But they're fighting it and saying it's not our stuff because he was a Mason. It was Masonic teachings, but we know the Mason system is a derivative of the Kemetic so-called initiatory system. And just so y'all know, just because white folks get their hands on everything doesn't mean that every single thing about it is bad. You got to have the eye to know, distinguish between what's real and what's unreal. That's actually one of the virtues of the initiate, the ability to distinguish between what's real and unreal. And and if you're a real student of the legacy, you'll know how to read the text and know how to find each one of those 10 virtues of initiate. Go to page 49 of the Hosea, the second paragraph. What book is it? Kajimni, okay. So read the second one. Second.
Those who are blameless in matters of conduct, no words can prevail against them. Those who are self-mastered.
Stop. Those who are self-mastered. Next sentence.
The harsh are kinder to them than their own mothers.
Stop. The harsh are kinder to them than their own mothers. Go again.
And all people become their servants.
And all people become their servants.
Let your name go forth.
Let your name go forth then.
While you yourself
are silent.
And you will become recognized and respected.
And you will become recognized and respected. That right there was the encapsulation of all 10 virtues of the initiate. Because it said, well, he who was self-mastered, Guru Ma'a, they would have had to have been exposed to the 10 virtues of the initiate to be able to achieve that state. But where am I going with it? The first 3 virtues of the initiate, can anybody name them? Control of thought, control of action, steadfastness of purpose. That in today's language would be called state control. In metaphysics, state control. That's self-mind control, self-conscious control. Those 3, control of thought, control of action, steadfastness of purpose, is called state control, self-mind control, conscious, self-conscious mind controls. Now understand this, watch this. One state of consciousness, one state control, one state of self-consciousness before doing a thing will determine the success or failure of endeavor. I'm going to repeat that. The one state of consciousness before doing a thing will determine the success or failure of an endeavor. Go back to what I just said with state control, self-mind control, self-conscious control, control of thought, control of action, steadfastness of purpose. When you planted the seed in your mind and you're faithful to that seed that you planted in your mind and you're unwavering, that is a state. So your loyalty or your fidelity to that state, if it's a correct state, if it's a healthy state, that's going to determine the level or the measure of your success or failure. Let's bring it on home to divination. Divination is a prognosis of your state control or your lack of state control before an endeavor. Get it? It's a prognosis. It's a snapshot of your energetic aura, your state, your patterns of thinking before you go into endeavor. It's not spooky. It's just be like, these are the patterns of your thinking, and this is what's likely to happen based off of your energetic state now. So as a self-aware person, you're supposed to control your thought, control your action, and be steadfast as a purpose. If you know who you are and you're totally clear on the seeds that you're planting in your consciousness, you don't need divination. You're self-prophesying because you're self-creating yourself like Kepler. Y'all understand? What's going over your head? My armor cow like, yo, when you going to talk about the first dynasty and the mummies that they found? Get back to the mummies. Nothing happens by chance. So that's what we're getting into. We're getting into the universal law. So divination is a prognosis about your state control or your lack of state of control before a thing. That's why meditation is key. That's why meditation is the cultivation of self-awareness. The cultivation of self-awareness is key to authentic spiritual practice. And if you don't have self-awareness in your spiritual practice, you're just going through the motions. To my experience, people who experience little to nothing as a result of their spiritual work, the discrepancy is their state control before the ritual or after the ritual. Y'all got it? So the summary, emotions are crystallizations of, we were talking about thought. Thought is just the skeleton. Emotions are the crystallizations of beliefs, thoughts, and moods of your former self, or the former version of yourself. Let's go ahead again. Emotions are crystallizations of beliefs, thoughts, and moods of former versions of yourself, most likely lesser versions of yourself. How many people feel like they came a long way in the past 5 years? Okay. So what does it mean when your emotions are mastering you? When your emotions are mastering you, it means metaphorically you're being haunted by older versions of yourself. Y'all see what I'm talking about? You're being haunted by older versions of yourself. So in a sense, your thoughts are thinking you. Every circumstance and situation is a crystallization of beliefs, moods, thoughts, and beliefs. So thoughts is nothing. Your thought is based off of your belief. Your belief shapes your thought. Your mood and your emotions energize the thought. And that's how it starts to become a thing. But thoughts by themselves, it's a misnomer. That's the difference between initiatory knowledge and non-initiatory knowledge. So you have a lot of people running on half-learned knowledge and telling everybody, and people are like, oh, it don't work, because they didn't know about the beliefs and how it shaped it. They didn't know how to funnel the proper emotion and attitude or mood into it. So all situations and circumstances are crystallization of former thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and moods. Now you see what the Kabbalion says, when a thought exclusively occupies the mind, it becomes an actual thing. Now we know it's not just the thought, it's the belief, whatever the belief behind the thought, the mood behind the thought, the behavior behind the thought, your absorption, your obsession with a thing, it becomes an actual thing. Now it goes back to what Armin Cow said, nothing happens by chance. This is the part that gets scary. Nothing happens by chance. There are no victims. Okay, about to walk out. No, We got to start holding people accountable. So that's why we have to slow the teachings down. Let's go back. When thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and moods exclusively occupies the mind, it becomes an actual thing. Becomes an actual state, going from the invisible to the visible. If you could keep fidelity 99% of the time, the magic happens with that last 2%. You're just waiting for it to come into existence. So that's why you have to always monitor the quality of your thoughts, the quality of your being, the state of your spirit. Emotions mastering you means that you're standing on a position of weakness. You're standing on the position. Let me hold on. I just said something profound. I want to build on that. What did I say before that? I said no such thing as victims. Everything that happens to you, you are intimately involved with on some level of another. This is where the teachings turn certain people off, because some terrible things happen to people and they be like, I would have never made that happen to myself. You were just talking about that, right? Does that come from what did I do last night? Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, all of that factors in. But we're about to look at this is the sauce on it. Nobody's gonna wish no harmful stuff on themselves, right? But we said you have to meditate, you have to be self-aware, you have to be self-conscious, you have to take accountability for your thoughts. You got to take accountability for them emotional tantrums to be thrown. That's the extreme energy burst that you put in the universe when you go through your emotional tantrum. That's why we keep trying to tell people, don't be angry for more than a day. You can't just be staying in that state. You're actually contributing to making it come through. But anyway, that's not even where I wanted to go for it. So you don't ever consciously bring something like grape to you. Y'all know what I'm talking about, grape. You don't consciously try to make a car hit you and get you up out of here. What people are missing is that thoughts, remember, thoughts are a shell that's embodied with beliefs, emotions, and your mood, right? So it's a frequency. It has nothing to do with the English language. It's a frequency, it's a vibration. So when you hold the vibration in your subconscious, because you never do it consciously, it's what's happening in your subconscious. So the power is in the 80% of your subconscious. The weakest part is your conscious. When things start shifting from your consciousness into your conscious world, then that starts confusing things. But where I'm going, so the thought has a frequency, and that frequency starts attracting everything that resonates with that thought. So if you're doing some self-hate and self-loathing, great. So you see what I'm saying? You don't say, I want somebody to do this thing, but if you hate yourself and you're entertaining those self-loathing thoughts, certain things are going to happen to you to affirm your low value of yourself. If you hate yourself and you hate this life, car accident, boom, out of here. You never think you created that car accident purposely, though there's certain things that resonate on the vibration of these things. So if you don't have the checklist of vibrate with these thoughts, it's always a risky thing. That's why you got to always stay in self-love, self-awareness, states of pleasure. And then you reproduce, you start attracting those things that resonate with health, things that resonate with that. But we, in our society as Black folks, we be obsessing with not feeling valued or not being valued. So we get those experiences back from life. Y'all understand what I'm saying right there? Yeah, so you pull these things not purposely, unconsciously, because there's a whole bunch of things out there that resonate on the frequency of self-loathing and self-hate. So you don't got to fight any of those things. You just got to love yourself. Anything bad happens to you is because you're in violation and not loving yourself. We get into the communion right there. So when you're standing, when your emotions are mastering you, you're standing on a position of weakness. Some people have the nerve to feel like, I won't feel good about myself until people treat me better. I can't come around certain people until y'all got it perfect in order for me to come together. That's a position of weakness. And you will always be a so-called victim, long as you need everybody to be perfect for you to show up the way you're supposed to show up. So things got to be perfect the way. What did we just say? You got to create perfect before perfect exists. You're teaching people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. Things are not going to be better till you show up better. You're the one that makes things better happen. Better don't happen to you. You make things better, and better reflects you. Y'all follow? Yes. So when your emotions are mastering you, you're playing weak. As an initiate, this is how you approach it. Sometimes you got to take the L. What does the L mean? The loss. What else does it mean? Transmute it. The loss turns into a what? Lesson or learning. So, when you're doing it, the initiate thing is everything is always wordplay. So the loss turns into learning. So sometimes we can connect it back to our ancestor language, and you play the etymology game. But El is also the prefix for deity, divine, God, or power. So you take the loss so you can relearn that you're divinity, you're divine, you're the power, and it is your birthright to create a beneficial reality for yourself. Y'all see that? So you don't play the victim. Just realign yourself, learn the lesson, remember that you are divine and your purpose is to create powerful, beneficial, and pleasurable things for yourself in this world. It's your birthright. So the challenge, I'm always partial to the people in the room. I can't speak for the people online. I don't know if you're outside of the tri-state area, you're fine. But if you're in the tri-state area, you're supposed to be here. So the challenge is what we're talking about. We're talking about beliefs, influence your thoughts, your moods and emotions, energize your thoughts. So now I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself to be in the best possible mood before you even come to communion. And then dare yourself to have an incredible, magical, and powerful day. Challenge yourself to be in the best possible mood. Get your belief right, get your thought right, get your mood right, and your emotions right, and then challenge yourself to have a powerful, magical week. Challenge yourself to have a powerful life. Let that be the way you don't leave the house till you're feeling good as possible. We become too comfortable with feeling bad and waiting for some way to open and give us permission to act or feel good. That's what they really talk about, fake it till you make it. You got to create the condition in your mind. You got to create it first. If you're not creating it first, it's never going to come. Because the world has us out here reverse engineering ourselves. Some people make it seem like you're losing out by being here and there's something better going on in the world. Y'all see what's happening online. People ain't happy out in the world. You ain't missing nothing. If anything, you're only here for a couple hours. You could go get caught up anywhere. You ain't missing nothing. How many people are out there that's claiming to stand on the same thing that we're standing on, yet we're the only ones in sacred space, whether it's here, whether it's on the mountain, whether it's on a retreat? Why are the numbers of the people that's showing up for sacred duty and sacred space so small, but everybody, the people that's claiming to stand on it is so great? So now I'm telling you to review yourself. So you're here, but are you really here? It's not a direct criticism, but the masculine say if the shoe fits. What am I talking about? You here, but are you really here? So if you think it's cool to be fashionably late, then that's taken away from the spirit of sacredness of what it is that we do. Do y'all agree? Do you have a wardrobe for this? You're not going to find me in this out here playing soccer. This is my sacred wardrobe for the communion. Do you have a sacred wardrobe that when you put it on, it makes you feel a certain way? So if you don't have a sacred wardrobe and you just come in as you are, the church started that. They used to dress up in church, right? It was a church culture of dress, and then somebody said, "Come to God as you are." That was supposed to be talking for poor folks. That was people that don't got no money, don't know no better. Come as you are, yeah, come in. But if you got money, look like it. Look like it. So if you don't have special clothes that make you, that's the power behind Halloween, right? It ain't about devils and stuff like that. People be dressing up with other stuff because it makes them be able to step out their normal character for a certain. They be like, "Oh, I'm Cleopatra, the god Zeus," or whatever, and it changes their posture, changes everything about it. So that's metaphysics right there. That's state control. That's what we're talking about. That's control of thought, control of action, steadfast is a purpose. For that day, you can't tell people nothing. They are on the Statue of Liberty. You can't tell them nothing. So if you don't have a wardrobe of special ceremonial clothes, it's called headset. Headset is ceremonial garb. If you don't have headset, that's taken away from the spirit of sacredness of what it is that we do. The problem is everybody's become so regular and mundane, their talking points become spiritual, and they're trying to fit sacred stuff into regular stuff. But the word sacred means that which is set apart. So certain things ain't supposed to be made regular. Certain things you got to cut yourself off from the rest of the world and do this special thing, get re-energized, renew your mind, then go back. Or live yourself into the reality that you created during the sacred space, right? So, once again, try to be in the best possible mood and emotional state before you come here, and dare to have an incredible magical day, dare to have an incredible magical week, dare to have an incredible magical lifestyle. You got to reverse engineering you have to reverse engineer your internal conversation. So everybody in here be like, I don't want to go down there today. But you have to reverse your conversation. You be like, okay, you got to have the conversation of what is it that I appreciate about going down there? You be like, I actually like doing the open and way ceremony. There's a shift that happens to me when we do the open and way ceremony. I appreciate the resonance of the room when we're doing dua'u together. I like the vibe of the frequency we get to when we're doing Hesi together. As a matter of fact, I like the fellowship that happens after the communion, and then we go break bread. And I do look forward to seeing sister such and such and brother such and such. As a matter of fact, if I'm being honest with myself, I never feel worse from coming to communion. I never regretted coming to communion. You see, you got to reverse, you got to do that work before you even come to communion in order for communion to feed you. It can't be an afterthought. Everybody's acting on the afterthought. You got to create it beforehand, because thoughts are things. Your belief shapes your thoughts. Your emotions and your moods energize your thoughts before they're about to come and become things. So I told you at the beginning, I'm just in a new state of mind, and I'm going to be in this state of mind to my dying day. A lot of people are talking a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't care about what nobody's talking about out there. To put it in proper perspective, respect to my peers, what everybody's talking about out there is important, but we all don't have to be talking about the same thing. That's not my assignment to be talking about some of the things that they're saying. When you come here to the temple, you don't come here to learn history. I'm not a history teacher. I'm not a political activist. I'm not an economist. Everybody be throwing that on spiritual people. Oh, the economy, what y'all teaching down here about the economy? Like, no, you come to a temple to learn how to use your tools to get in alignment with the divine for your benefit, for the benefit of your personal power and your healthy enjoyment, for personal power and healthy enjoyment. Yeah, I said healthy enjoyment. It's been too much. We've been putting on Oscar award winning demonstrations of how miserable we could be. As conscious Black folks, we be given Oscar award winning performances about how miserable we could be because of what we sacrifice for our people. They be like, I ain't laughed since 85. People dying out there in the streets. Fun? I ain't had fun in 15 years. People dying, and what you having fun for? People dying in the streets. This is all theater. People dying and killing, that's all part of the thing. Remember, we're all intimately involved with everything that we're doing. So that killing and stuff, that scares certain people straight. Yeah, they get some people like, yo, I'm getting up out these streets, man. More killing, man. Like, I'm gonna go hug up on my wife and my kids. It's getting crazy out here. So it becomes motivation for certain people to be better. So it all serves its place in the divine scheme of things. It's always gonna be there. It was always there. If you read the Hermetica, and when it's talking about when the Tsar and the Set came to civilization, it said they was engaged in mutual savagery and slaughter. So before the deities came to human beings, they was killing each other. So why we gotta fix it? The deities couldn't even fix it. So we worried about the wrong things. So we're here for the teachings of healthy empowerment and healthy enjoyment, because our heritage is not struggle. Our heritage is empowerment and healthy enjoyment. So essentially we're here, I'm here, what I'm trying to do is teach two things, is teach the truth in the most profound, practical way and do justice to this legacy of ours. That's the two things, to teach truth in the most practical, direct, and profound way and do justice to this legacy. So if you're here by a decision. And I'm just trying to make you all feel good about the decision that you made to be a part of the legacy. That's all we could do, is try to make people feel good about the decision that they made to be part of the legacy. But check this out, it works two ways. You got to make me feel good about my decision or our decisions to allow you to fellowship with us. It don't just go one way, it goes both ways. And we've all experienced despicable behavior from past initiates and guests alike that act like they doing us a favor by coming with all this baggage and dumping it on us. Hey, y'all supposed to be spiritual, deal with that. Like they're doing us a favor, then threaten us with a good time, threatening to leave. You got to do the work. We got to do the work. So to bring it all home in closing, y'all contemplate this saying. It's from the book of Anui. It says, everyone can master their nature if the wisdom that they've been taught has made that nature stable. Everyone can master their nature if the wisdom that they've been taught has made that nature stable. So y'all been taught how to pray properly, correct? Does prayer have a stabilizing effect upon you? Does meditation have a stabilizing effect upon you? Does Hesi and Hekau have a meditation effect upon, or stable effect upon you? Does fasting and cleansing have a? This is what it's talking about. You've been given some stuff. You can master yourself if you stop talking about it and talking around it. Just do it. Use what it is that you have. That's what it's saying. Everyone can master their nature if the wisdom that they've been taught has made that nature stable. So I'll close on that point. Everybody stand.
I'll give my eye to everybody. I just wanted to add something very quickly. Just a point of balance, because Ms. Sis spoke a lot today about not being a victim and taking responsibility for our own vibration. I do want to just acknowledge that that doesn't change the accountability that like thieves have to take if they steal from you, right? Like I want to just add that point, because I don't know, you was in your flow, so you didn't know, but I was like, all right, we gotta add that, right? That like a person who chooses to be a thief needs to be held accountable for their choices to steal, right? Criminals and people who are low vibrational and make poor choices, rapists in particular, since you mentioned that word, have to be held accountable for their poor decisions and the actions that they take to harm others. And also, we can choose to vibrate high enough so that we are not even on the level where those people can even see us and interact with us. We can choose to be in spaces where people who make those types of choices will not be in our circles, will not be in our friend groups and things like that. And that's, I think, what Nasud is talking about, is how do we choose to not interact with, or how do we strive to and try to put ourselves in the best position to not experience those things, while also still recognizing the need for accountability for those who have bad character. So just wanted to add that balance.
What she said. That's why laws are created, to bring some type of resolution to pass evil that has been done, and set up things so hopefully it never happens again. But we still got to think better. We got to vibrate better. We got to create better realities. Until then, before you get on that path, it can be rough for certain people. That's what the cleansing is for. That's what the praying is for. That's what the meditation is for. It's all cultivating your vibration. I know it seems abstract, but for every day you're not doing it, that's more days that you're contributing to the evil of the world. So everybody got to get up on it. Everybody got to take their responsibility and make the world, starting with themselves, better, make the world a better place, starting with yourself, one person at a time. We be thinking too grand and the things we be going to the slums and stuff, trying to get them people out. Are you clean yet? Are you right yet? Do you have influence in your personal circle? It's like concentric circles. Get yourself right and get your family right, get your tribe right, then it goes out. And then the world start reverberating back to you. That's it. Understand? Kemmunion Matap. Brothers right over left, sisters left over right. D you knew, Uncle Jocelyn. D you knew, Uncle Jocelyn. Open up, give energy around the room. Bring it into the heart. Count, round out on the count of three. Wasanu, Shmet. All right.
So on that to everybody, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
Who got something out of today's message, we thank
Huh?
you for making donations.
It's in this stuff.
Via Cash App and dollar
I gotta start
sign.
bringing that.
It's our
PayPal or Zelle, using our email address, centralavenue@gmail.com. We will see you
I knew the real
in 2
name and
weeks
middle
for our
name
next
too.
regular scheduled
Okay.
communion.
When I put it red.